Hi guys, so I'm here with my reading wrap up for September. I had a fairly good reading month for September. I read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I read 6 books, and there was a point where I didn't think I was going to read very many at all. So I was really happy with what I got read in September. So yeah, I'll just show you what I read. Let's move on. I'm actually recording this today because I hadn't got around to recording it before, because obviously the end of the month was sort of midweek and I've been at work. So yeah, I've just got home from work now and I wanted to get this recorded and up, because I always do like to get my videos up on a Friday if I can. So the first book that I read in September was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I actually haven't even got round to showing this in a haul yet. I read it pretty much as soon as it arrived. Really love this. Obviously I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but if you haven't picked up this series, you really should, guys. I absolutely love it. It's quite rare for me to pick up a sequel as soon as it arrives. But yeah, that's how much I love this series, and I've loved it from the very beginning. So yeah, you just really do have to pick this up. I have actually posted my review on my blog already, and someone very kindly commented saying that they had struggled to review it without spoiling, but they really appreciated my review because they thought I did a good job of not spoiling it for anyone. So that was a really sweet compliment. So yeah, if you want to check out my review, head over to my blog. It's so action packed. There's so much going on. This series just never fails to break my heart, to make me smile, to make me laugh, to make me cry. You feel all the things with this series, so you definitely need to pick this up. And it took me a little while to read. It took me I think exactly 2 weeks to read, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I was enjoying it so much. I didn't want to rush it, because I mean it's a long time to wait for the next one, so I didn't want to rush anything. I was taking my time. I wasn't forcing myself to read at any point, because it is quite beastly. It's over 600 pages, so I was definitely taking my time, because obviously I had work as well. I work all week, so it's not as if I had loads of time at home to just blast through it. So I was taking my time, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 out of 5. The next book that I read, after reading that beast of a book, I wanted something really light, really fluffy. So I picked up Tempting the Best Man by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in one of her adult series. It's been out on ebook for a little while, but they've just released the paperbacks in the UK, and as you can see, it's really thin. I think it's only just about 200 pages. Nah, this edition isn't even 200 pages. And this wasn't my favourite book by her. It was okay. I mean, it had sort of still had her humour and her snarkiness that is present throughout her books. Her female characters they always sort of ring true, because the way their minds work, you can think, I would think that, I would say that, that's how I would be. Like, she just writes really well. But for me, this one just didn't have very much depth to it. It's about a woman called Madison, and she's loved her brother's best friend since they were kids, but he doesn't seem to see her in the same way. And then her brother is getting married, and she's sort of, I think she's a bridesmaid, and her brother's best friend is also like the best man. So they're basically having to be together for this wedding, and it throws them together. And all the way through the book, it's like how, she's loved him forever, like she's always been in love with him, but you don't really see the why of it. You don't really see that much interaction. You don't get that development. You just don't see what's supposed to be there, if that makes sense. It just doesn't come across like you're being told it, you're not being shown it. So yeah, I mean, it was still fun and it was a quick read, but I gave it 3 out of 5. It wasn't my favourite Jennifer L. Armentrout book. And then the next book that I read was one that I got on NetGalley for review, And again, after reading Queen of Shadows and that, I just wanted sort of fluffier reads. So I read The Billionaire's Passionate Revenge by Jennifer St. George. Looks like that. I didn't expect to like this one quite as much. I did enjoy it. It is just quite a quick read. It's about two people. I can't remember their names. I think his name might have been Xavier. I can't remember her name. It's going to really bug me. But they were friends when they were children. She was basically quite well off. Zara, I think her name was Zara. Her family's quite wealthy. Like is part of the English peerage. Like her dad, I think, is a lord or something. And Xavier is their gardener's son, and they sort of had a forbidden friendship when they were younger, and it was just getting to be something more when sort of a scandal ripped them apart. Now, years later, Xavier has come back, and he sort of made himself, he's made his billions, and Zara's family is actually is struggling because of the cost of keeping a sort of an ancestral home alive, and her father's sort of now in a care facility, and she's running herself into the ground trying to keep her historic home going. And he sort of comes back to take his revenge, but it doesn't quite work out that way. But it was really sweet. I did really enjoy this one, and I gave it sort of 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. Liked it more than I had anticipated. The next book that I read is one that I've had on my Kindle for a while, but haven't got to, and I finally decided to pick it up, and that's Leo by Mia Sheridan. It's like that. And this is a new adult novel, and I loved Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Absolutely loved it. It's one of my all-time favourite new adult novels. It's in my Erin Recommends for new adult novels. It was amazing, and I really liked this one as well. We only have Evie's point of view, the female character, and basically she grew up in foster care, and when she was in foster care she met a boy called Leo, and they became really good friends, but he gets fostered, and he says to her that he's going to come back when she's 18 and they'll be together, they'll get married, and then they'll have their life together, but he never comes back. And then years later, this young man, Jake, comes up and says that he knew Leo and that Leo died. And then she starts a relationship with Jake. But not as all as it seems, as the title would suggest. Really enjoyed this one. I didn't fully understand why Jake did what he did and why Leo did what Leo did. But I really liked it. I really liked Evie. She was so likeable. She was a really kind character without being a doormat. She was just really sweet. I really liked her. I really liked the romance. There was some serious steaminess in this, but I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5. It wasn't as good as Archer's Voice. I don't know what can be as good as Archer's Voice, but I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it so much that afterwards I read Leo's Chance, also obviously by Mia Sheridan. And this is basically the same story, but told in Leo's point of view. And I really liked it. It did feel like it's obviously quite repetitive because exactly the same things are happening. That's why I almost wish that it was told in alternating chapters. But I can kind of see why not with like the suspense, and there wasn't really much suspense and surprise in Leo, but I can see that there maybe had intended to be a surprise. But I think you needed to have Leo's points of view in some bits. I think that the story definitely benefited from seeing his side of things, why he did what he did. So yeah, I enjoyed that just as much, and I gave it 4 out of 5. So no, that's not everything. I thought that was the last book that I read, but it's not. I managed to read one more book in September, and I expected to really love this book. I expected to fall in love with it, and I didn't, and I'm a little bit disappointed, and that's The Last True Vampire by Kate Baxter. This had promised itself to be my kind of book, because it says if you enjoy, what did it say? J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood, which, as we all know, I really, really love. If you liked Nalini Singh's Side Changeling books, which I also love, and Lara Adrian's Midnight Breed, those are three of some of my favourite series ever. So I thought, brilliant, I'm going to have another series. I didn't fall in love with this book. It's about a woman called Claire, and she's had a rough life. She's basically raised herself, and she's turned into a bit of a hustler. She is struggling to make ends meet. And then one night she is on the hustle, and she meets this man, and she's instantly attracted to him, and they have like this mind-blowing encounter. And then she steals his watch and she leaves. And then the guy that she's had an encounter with is Michael, and he is the last of his kind. He's the last vampire. That all the rest are, I don't know how you say the word, I don't know how you say the word. But now he knows that she's his mate, and he has to track her down. I just feel like this book needed better editing. It didn't flow very well for me, and nothing was believable. I didn't believe in this connection. I didn't feel any attraction between the two main characters at all. I just didn't buy into it in any way. It was a real letdown for me. It kept saying that, oh, you know, she's his mate, he feels all this for her, he feels that for her. It just fell flat. It wasn't like Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. I feel like that's what it tried to be. There was definitely some similarities, but that's not. It felt like it wanted to be Dark Lover and what's it called? The first Midnight Breed novel, Kiss of Midnight. I think that's the first one. I think whatever the first Midnight Breed novel is, that's what this felt like it was trying to be a combination of, and it didn't work. But yeah, I would consider picking up the next book to see if it improves, to see what happens. But so far I've not been impressed, and I only gave this sort of 1.5 to 2 out of 5 stars. So that's everything that I read in September, guys. If you've read any of these books, if you've wanted to read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. I always love to know. So yeah, I'm gonna go. The light is really going, but I really wanted to get this video done and up tonight. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Happy reading.